Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm going to do an update today on my shrimp room, and I'm also going to go over a couple of big things that I'm changing to this room. And if you like seeing shrimp or you're just curious about shrimp keeping in general, be sure to hit that subscribe button as it really helps me out. So let's get into it. My crystal red shrimp tank is doing fairly well. I'm sort of at a stalemate when it comes to breeding, and I am seeing a few babies. I'm just not seeing as many as I probably should. I want to say that this tank is almost at its max capacity of shrimp. There's anywhere between 300 and 400 shrimp in here, and which brings me to another point of, I've had a couple people ask me if I sold shrimp, and I do actually sell shrimp. But it's been winter time, and I'm a little bit skeptical of shipping in the winter time, even though I know that there's heat packs that I can use. I've just seen a couple of videos of people unboxing ice blocks with shrimp inside, and I really don't want to be that guy. So if you want shrimp of any kind out of my shrimp room, just leave a comment below, and I will also leave a link to my Facebook group where you can find me. And feel free to message me, ask me any questions you like. And if you live in Canada, I will more than happily ship you some shrimp. This is my 15 gallon, and it sits directly below my crystal red shrimp tank. It's pretty much Michelin's and generation 2 and 3 tang tie in here. The great news is that I was almost in the process of purchasing some blue bolts for my shrimp room when I noticed that there was about 4 or 5 baby blue bolts in this tank, and they just kind of came out of nowhere. Not really sure how they showed up. I'm definitely not sure which shrimp gave them to me because there's quite a few in here. But I can't complain, except for doing a video of this tank has been very difficult because every time I do one, I find another shrimp that I want to take out of here. I think I pulled out maybe 5 Black King Kongs and 4 blue bolts during the process of this video. And there's another baby one right there. But I'll get him right after I'm done doing this little clip. My 3 10-gallon tanks are kind of a variety of different things, but this one over here is my black rose, and I can safely say now that there are maybe anywhere between 40 and 50 babies in here that all look fairly dark. I'm almost confident that they are black rose, because I had to mix these with some carbon really to get a few babies. And if you look along the walls, there are quite a few little ones. And back there on the filter, it's a little bit hard to see because I haven't really cleaned this tank in a while because I'm afraid to stick my hands in there. And there's a few more over here. But the goal with this tank is I'm going to let them get just a little bit bigger. And in a couple of weeks, all of these black rose are going to be going into this 36-gallon bow front. It's one of the things I wanted to talk about as far as changes to my shrimp room. I'm going to be setting up a couple of new tanks at once. One's going to be a Neocaridina tank, and then there's going to be this one here, which is going to be the future black rose tank. The tank in the middle is kind of the same thing as the 15-gallon that I talked about earlier. It's sort of a Michelin and F2, F3 tang tie tank. And I pulled out maybe 15 to 20 Taiwan bees out of here and put them in different tanks. I'm not really for sure what I'm going to do with all of these. I would like to get them a bigger home, but I'm running out of space. And that's why I'm going to be setting up another Neocaridina tank for these. And I'm probably going to be using this tank for selective breeding. This is just my cull tank for my Neocaridina. I've been slowly moving them over from my 5-gallon tank into this 10 here. They've been breeding pretty well in here. I'm not really for sure what I want to do with all of my culls, but for now they're going to live their lives out in this 10-gallon tank until I can find them just a little bit bigger of a home. The Bloody Mary tank is doing exceptionally well. There's not a whole lot of complaints I have about it. Besides, I would like to put in another sponge filter, which I don't have room for on any of my air pumps. And that brings me to my next big upgrade I'm going to be making to this room, which is I'm putting in a centralized air system so I can add a few sponges to a couple of tanks and also leave a little bit of room for maybe 5 or 6 more setups. But this tank is probably anywhere between 300 and 400 shrimp. I don't have to cull a single shrimp out of here. I've not culled one shrimp. They all seem to keep their color really well. The Carbon Relay tank is sort of the same thing as the Bloody Mary tank as far as the breeding goes. There are baby shrimp and buried shrimp all over the place. The ram's horn snails are getting a little bit out of control in here, which is why I am going to be setting up a snail only tank. It's going to be another tank that I'm going to be setting up in the next couple of weeks. But the Subwasser tank in here is doing really well. I love the look of this stuff. And there's also another plant that I thought I had lost, which is Sunset Hydrophilia, I'm pretty sure it's called. But this tank is doing amazing. My 20-gallon long holds about 20 to 30 wine reds, and it also has a few different shrimp with a few different patterns on them. Like that little one right there has a few stripes on it with no white on its head, which makes me hope that it has some kind of pinto genes in it. Really hoping to get that one to adulthood and breed it back with the Taiwan bees, or even some Tang Tai, trying to get a few more patterns on it. This tank is doing really well. I have not seen a single death in here. But I do have about 4 buried wine reds in here, and also all of the Tang Tai in here are buried too. But unfortunately they all decided to hide for this video. But I will be doing an update on this one with my mixed Caridina updates. My cherry shrimp colony is my oldest colony that I have down here. I've had them for about 8 or 9 years. This is the very first shrimp colony that I ever purchased. I probably will keep these till the end of time, as long as I don't ever lose any, or lose this tank in general. I don't think I will though, and not only that, but I have a few of these in different tanks, so if I was to lose them all, I could always bring them back to life. But there's anywhere between maybe 300 to 400 in here also. Lots of buried in there. And also another cool thing is, if you check out this little wall over here, there is just a ton of babies. It's pretty neat. I love watching them. I could sit here and probably watch these all day long. This is my black Tang Tai, black panda, and just black shrimp in general. Most of them are black in general, but there are some leftover crystal reds that I got to get out of here. There's also a loner cherry shrimp and a Carbon Relay I still haven't taken out of here. But I think I just spotted, yep, there he is. One of the blue bolts that I just took out. You can see him right there. Really, really happy to start seeing blue bolts in this tank. I've always wanted blue bolts, and now that I've seen a baby blue bolt, I absolutely love them. I can't wait to start breeding them and see how many I can breed. There's also a bunch of, I think that's a black King Kong Extreme right there on that little piece of food. There's a black panda right there, little baby. Another black panda. But this tank is doing exceptionally well. There's also some with some really cool patterns on them. There's one there, and there's a buried Tang Tai. I'm really, really happy with this tank. There's also a red King Kong on top of that filter. I'm going to be moving him or her really soon. One of the last things I want to talk about is the size of this shrimp room, and it's getting a little bit cramped. There's not a whole lot more space I have to set up tanks. Now I am going to be setting this one up really soon, like I said, in the next couple weeks or so. But this workbench, I want to keep it a workbench. I don't want to fill it full of shrimp tanks and then not have any room for water changes and, you know, maybe an aquarium reseal. Having this space is pretty important to me. But my heater is holding me back from expanding my shrimp room. This shrimp room is approximately 1/4 of my basement. I plan on upgrading it to double the size when I do upgrade that heater over there, because heating my shrimp room is very important as far as consistency goes. It needs to stay at about 70 to 72 degrees. I really don't want it to fluctuate a lot, because when winters here hit, it does get really, really cold. So having a good heater is important to me. The first step I want to do is upgrade my air system so I have enough air for the tanks I'm about to install. And then I'm going to go ahead and double this size once I, hopefully sell a few shrimp and make a couple of bucks. But that is it for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And if you did, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Have a wonderful day, and cheers.